Hey everyone! So I'm really excited because today we are taking a look at our last and final part of speech. I've had a great time making these. I've had a lot of help making these, and I hope that you guys have been able to learn a little bit as well, and I'm just really happy. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at prepositions. Now again, prepositions tend to be more difficult, and that's because there are a lot of them, but we can still identify prepositions, break them down into various subcategories, and figure out how we can identify different prepositions. Prepositions are a word governing and usually preceding a noun or pronoun and expressing a relation to another word or element in the clause. Basically what prepositions do is that they add. There is a connection, there's some kind of relationship going on. They extend meaning. The way I normally find them is that I locate nouns or other parts of speech and I eliminate them. That leaves me with my preposition. If you can identify your nouns, typically your preposition is going to be either in between or next to one of your nouns. Let's go ahead and break those down. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and break down the prepositions into their 5, technically there are 6 subcategories and what they mean. The subcategories of prepositions are simple preposition, compound preposition, phrase preposition, participle preposition, double preposition, and then other preposition. These are prepositions of place, time, and direction. We're not really going to be focusing on those because that's not our skill level, so I'm going to be leaving other prepositions out. So we're just going to focus on those first 5. Simple prepositions have to do with one word, and there are a lot of them. That's why prepositions in the first place tend to be difficult. There are so many. Simple prepositions and examples of them are above, about, across, as, at, before, behind, beneath, during, except, like, next, of, on, since, than, towards, under, until, up, upon, with, within, without, and over. Now, I know that that is a lot, and I'm definitely not expecting you to memorize all of those because it's similar to adverbs. There are ways to figure out where the prepositions are located rather than hardcore memorization. It's not realistic to simply memorize all of those. You can find them by identifying other parts of speech and how the whole sentence is supposed to function if you break it down into all parts of speech. Let me give you a sentence for a simple preposition. If I say, place your uniform on the dresser, we have to locate the nouns. This is simply how I do it. If you have another way of identifying them, that's great. Here's what I normally do. So uniform and dresser, those are my nouns. Then I look for how we have a relationship going on between those. So uniform and dresser, uniform should go on the dresser. So on would be our simple preposition. Compound prepositions are very similar to simple. Compound simply means there are 2 or more words. Some of these include according to, because of, in place of, as of, and next to. Here's a sentence with a compound preposition. If I say, we can't go outside because of the bad weather, again, we need to identify the nouns. Outside is a noun and weather is a noun. So what's the relationship between those 2 nouns? We can't go outside due to the bad weather. So because of would be our compound preposition. Phrase prepositions answer what? It's going to be a phrase. It's going to be more than one word. So these would include terms like over the hill, behind the door, at Cory's house, without your coat, or during breakfast. If I say, we talked about my grades during breakfast, again, locate the nouns. Grades, breakfast. What's the correlation? We're not left with a lot of options. It is during breakfast, okay? Participle prepositions are verbs becoming an adjective. These tend to be easier to identify for most people. Words like this include assuming, considering, given, and provided. If I say a sentence like, I will perform in the musical, assuming I do well in my audition. Again, look for the nouns. Musical, audition. Normally right next to or somewhere in between. Assuming I do well in my audition. Assuming would be our participle preposition. The last one we're going to be taking a look at are called double prepositions. It's very similar to simple prepositions. We're just taking two words and putting them together to make one word. Words like this would include in and to becoming into, with and in becoming within, and up, on becoming upon. If I say the manatee dove into the lake, you can automatically identify that from knowing what simple prepositions are. Therefore, into would be our preposition for a double preposition. Again, other prepositions do exist, but that's just a whole category on their own, and it's not what we're going to be identifying for today for our skill level. Go ahead and pause your screen and answer this quick question for me. How can you write a sentence using at least one subcategory of all 5 prepositions that we discussed today? Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you write down those questions, make sure you write down those answers. I'm thinking I'm going to be making a few more series, and I hope you guys will watch them as we continue. Don't be afraid to learn. Bye guys.